All right, so if you're just going to be changing the cover here, and you're not going to be messing around with the shims or anything like that, just want to change this, you'll see that there's those 4 screws, and they're going to be right on the other side. Like there's one here, one here, one here, one here. They're pretty easy to get to. Like I can get them all out with this, without taking the drive shaft out or any of the links or anything like that. So I mean, if you have any problem based on what tools you have, you can pop these out in the drive shaft. Basically, yeah, and then you're gonna pop the cover off. But what I'm gonna do actually is I'm doing a little bit more. So I'm gonna be doing the shim. So I'm gonna pop the drive shaft off down here. I'm gonna pop the drive shaft off right here, and pop, of course, the cover off. Then I'm gonna go ahead and pop these off right here. All right, I've removed that end of the drive shaft, and you can see I've got those are the 2 bolts on that side there. Just not really focusing, but you can kind of see them there sticking out. One's here, one's here. There's 2 on the other side. Then you're going to go ahead and take those out, and if you're going to be doing shimming, you can wait until you see if you need the shims or not, or you can just remove these on both sides on the rear axle, so you can pull these shafts out. Okay, now I've removed those 4 from over here, and it's been long-winded, as you can see. Good idea to run them in the holes. You know, make sure there's no burrs. They're going to go smooth. It's always better to do this now than wind them later. I have seen reviews where you have to wind them right down at the end to get them to bottom out, that they say that these bolts are too long. Then you're going to want to just kind of work this cover off right here. There she is, beautiful as can be. And a good reason to remove the drive shaft is to do this rotation, make sure everything goes. To check to see if it needs to be shimmed, I'm going to grab it right here and see if it moves. Well, mine moves none. So it doesn't need to be shimmed. Wow. Okay, so I removed all 4 of these bolts and from the red one and ran them all in to make sure there's no burrs or anything like that. That's really a good thing to do. Here's the factory one. I have removed the end bolts off these axles. Does not need to be shimmed for whatever reason. Seems like most people need to, but maybe where mine's brand new, it doesn't need it. All right, brand new, I mean one of the newer ones. Maybe they've caught on and started straightening it out. I don't really know about that, but what I do know is I'll be doing the front as well. I will go ahead and pull these shafts because I took those end bolts out. So keep everything clean. Pull this one. It's a little bit slippery, but you'll get it right out. Just kind of wiggled it a little bit. I grabbed the tooth like that. Oh, that was enough. So she's lost her weight bias here. She wants to fall forward. There we go. Shimmed it back. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. That set down. And I'll show you where you put the shim if you need it. did he? Take a look in there. Spinning smooth. Everything is lubed. Teeth look good. Alright, so if you do need to shim, pop this bearing off right here. And the shim is going to go right there. You're going to pop the bearing back on and you're going to pop it in there. And then you're going to check, and if there's any slop at all after you put the shim in, you're going to want to put another shim in. It seems like the people that need the shims, a lot of the time it's 2 shims. Like, these are the shims that you're going to need. Got these off A-Main Hobbies. I really like that. I really like them. Alright, so everything checks out here. Everything looks good. Everything's clean. There's no burrs. There's no problems at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the differential back in. Make sure it doesn't fall out, so just gonna keep my hand behind it. Make sure she's in there. Always good. Yeah, there's no movement in mine, none. So we're gonna go ahead and put these shafts back in. You have to take those out if you're just changing this cover. That's for the shim install. If you Perfect, rotating smooth. Almost working better since I took it out. Weird like that. Put this one in. There we go. So then we're going to take these babies and pop them right in there. I'm going to put a little lube just on this area right here. I'm not really sure if it's going to need it, but where that bearing is going to be coming close. Pop these end bolts back into the axles. Okay, so I just fit that just to make sure. Got all the hexes. The hex is back on, the end bolts. She's in there. She's good. We're going to take this, just slide it right in there. Came in. Perfect. And then you're going to start these bolts in and make sure that they're not cross-threaded or anything like that. Okay, one thing I did notice when I was tightening this down is I remember reading reviews and sent it back because they couldn't get the differential to rotate smoothly. And I see other people talking about how it's really hard to get this tight. Now, I didn't have that problem, so what I did is I probably over-tightened it a little bit, and I still alternated them, and then I checked, and it didn't rotate very smooth at all. So I backed those off just a little bit, and then it rotated just as smooth as can be. But had I left it cranked right down as tight as it was, it would have caused a problem long term for sure. So now it's smooth. These things aren't ripped right up tight. And I feel that that proves, that this can help add some structure to that plastic. You're going to want to just go ahead and pop your tires on and swing the truck around. All right, time to tackle the front. Got your same 4 bolts. There's 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. We're going to take those out, and it looks like it's going to be a little easier to remove that shock. So I'm going to remove the shock, and then we'll take out that drive shaft bolt. Okay, so drive shaft's out. Well, that bolt's out. I rotated, everything was super smooth. Took this out, took these 4 bolts out, started them in here. All right, so I'm going to take this Yeah, it's not moving. If it looks like it's moving, it's whole axle. Gonna just take all these out. Like I say, I'm gonna put a little lube right there on this part and put them back in. You've installed on there. And definitely make sure, check the rotation. Because I was able to, if you read the reviews like I did, you're gonna want to just crank that. And in the rear, it definitely affected the way it rotated by just cranking it down. So I suggest, I don't know if the other people that went through it, if they checked or not, but I very much suggest that you check that. I didn't crank it right down. Everything's snug, it's tight. I probably could go further if I wanted to, but everything's perfect. Have a great day.